All right, the new Bridgerton season is finally coming. When this is out, it's already here. I've been ready for forever. Yep, this vlog is going to be all about the 4th season and the 3rd book of the Bridgerton series. Finally, it's here. I've been waiting for forever. I also love Benedict and Sophie's story, so I'm here for it. I'm going to reread this. It's gonna be, I think, the 3rd time I read it. The new season is coming out tomorrow, and I'm a little bit behind because I haven't started this yet. I have been known, though, to read Julia Quinn books in around 24 hours, so it could be possible, but I also have a lot of work to do. But I'm gonna get as far in this as I possibly can until I'm watching the show tomorrow. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to binge all the first episodes in one sitting tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to read, we're going to have a chat about the book, and then we're going to watch the show, and we'll just see where it goes from there, you know? We meet Sophie, who's working for a prominent family, not under the best living conditions. One night she decides to sneak into Lady Bridgerton's masquerade ball, and suddenly it's not that easy for her to hide her class and her real identity when she meets Benedict Bridgerton, and they have a little moment. Now, this is probably my favorite story in the Bridgerton book series. There is one scene in this I'm very curious to know if they're gonna adapt to screen or if they're gonna do some kind of version of it. Yeah, I've seen the trailer and it feels like they're really leaning into, hey guys, we know that this is like a Cinderella retelling and we're not gonna hide it. So we'll just see how it goes from there. I think in the show we're also gonna see some interesting things going on with Francesca and maybe even Eloise. Bridgerton has been renewed for 2 new seasons after this one, which probably I think they've all also announced will be Francesca's and Eloise's seasons. Gonna have to see which order they will do those in. Super excited. And also, this is my Swedish copy. I've read them in Swedish. That's what I do sometimes. And I think we just have to start reading. Yeah. Okay, so I got like 45% into the book since yesterday. I did work an early shift today, came home, took a nap, and yeah, now the 4 first episodes are out. But before we're gonna watch them, I've decided to make scones. Now, I'm gonna make scones as we made scones when I was a kid, because that's how I like them. So if there's any passionate scone makers or eaters out there that think I'm doing it wrong, please don't come for me in the comments. But let's put the book away and start. So the next part I'm reading is the lake scene, which this like the second part of that scene, I'm really curious to know what they're gonna do with that, if they're gonna put it in, like, and in what way the show would do that, if they do. Okay, so the book, it's split into parts. So in part 1, we sort of get like the setup for the whole story, and most importantly, we get to know Sophie. It's a bit cliche, and starting to read part 2, I instantly felt that I do like this part a lot better. This is, as I said, this is the third time I've read this, and I've only read them in Swedish, and I do start to think that maybe I should just try them out in English as well. Maybe like some of my favorite, just those. I'm curious now. And I just got a text from my friend who's watched the first episode, and he seemed very hyped about it. We were a bit skeptical. I wasn't a huge fan of season 3, extreme fan of season 2, so that was a tough act to follow. This is my favorite book, so I just hope that it will be good. I think it rides a lot on chemistry, and even though I think every actor is doing a really good job, I just didn't feel the chemistry in the same way in season 3. There were also a lot of other stuff going on, and it feels like that's the case going forward as well, season after season, because so many things are happening in other plot lines and setting up other things for other seasons and stuff like that. So maybe that's just a normal, natural way of things. There we go. And yeah, there will be a lot of other storylines in this. I mean, we're probably gonna set some things up for Francesca and her marriage. Violet has her own little side love story. And of course, we left everything with people discovering who Whistledown is. So I'm guessing there's gonna be some follow-up on that as well. So now that they've released the first 4 episodes, I'm also very curious to see where they will leave us hanging, you know? So let's add some milk to this and then start smushing it together. Okay, I've watched the first episode. Yeah, this could be good. I'm gonna wait to give you all of my thoughts until I've watched all 4 of the first batch of episodes. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. All right, it's been a couple of days, but I'm finally ready to talk about the first 4 episodes. I'm gonna go through them like one by one at first and then give you my overall thoughts. And I do have my little note computer here to help me out. Yeah. Okay, so the structure of the book is a little bit different from what we saw in the first episode. I did like it. The choice to withhold Sophie's identity brought even more magic to the masquerade, in my opinion. But yeah, what a start to the season. I'm so excited, and I'm already asking myself the question, who's it gonna be for season 5? But we'll see. I'm loving the chemistry between Luke Thompson and Yerin. They're just amazing together. Like from the moment when she put her hand in his hand, and I was like, yes. Okay, episode 2. I loved that Benedict dragged Eloise into this goose chase trying to find the silver lady instead of asking Violet about the glove. And a little moment with Penn, Eloise, and Benedict was just like, Benedict and Eloise is my favorite duo. In episode 2, we got a little bit more background into who Sophie is, and I'm glad that they chose to hold that back and bring it out in episode 2, making place for the first one to be all about the magic. Episode 3, we are now at the cottage, and I like that she didn't kiss him when he was like fever dreaming. And they did a couple of choices like that, as they usually do, with like the more morally questionable choices in the books. Like, I also like that he was injured instead of like being super sick, because doing all that coughing and I don't know, but this was way better. I also liked that he was seeking her out and not just like she coming to visit him in bed all the time. And he also makes some of the conversations that has to do with their different status. It gives weight to that conversation as well. And then we got episode 4. Oh my God. I mean, this show is so freaking good. It's just the amount of times in this episode when I was like laughing out loud and just screaming was, yeah, they made so many good choices. The chemistry is flying all over. It's charming, funny, sexy. Probably, I'm just gonna say it now, probably my favorite season after season 2. Okay, so a bit more general thoughts on the show. They didn't give Benedict one of those glow-ups that Anthony and Colin got, which I quite liked. We've also seen Benedict's character now for 3 seasons building up to this, and him adapting this lifestyle, but also seeming kind of lost still in it. One who did get a glow up though was Violet. Her at that masquerade ball was just, oh, Violet, you deserve it. And I'm the tea that you're having. I love that. As I've mentioned, they've taken out some of the more or less like morally questionable bits from the books, as they usually do, like to keep more in line with the show and what the show is doing. Yeah, I think this is one of those times where it's like fun to read the books, but the books and the show are pretty much their own thing. Usually I don't really go back and forth too much about the changes that they've made and compare in too many details, you know. I don't really get too upset about changes. I think the scene by the lake worked really good like this, and I'm also glad that they waited a bit with the whole mistress thing. Like, in the middle of the stairs between upstairs and downstairs was the perfect setting. Reading the book, I'm struck by how they're both kind of like stuck in the middle, and that's kind of also where we leave them in episode 4. Sophie had a similar upbringing to Benedict, but working as a servant, she now belongs to a different class. She doesn't have much in common with men that she meets on a regular basis, but she's also not supposed to engage with men like Benedict. Well, I mean, as the show depicts, she can be used by men of higher birth, but nothing else. You know, Benedict, on the other hand, is falling for Sophie, but shaped by his standing in society, taking her as a mistress is like the only scenario in his mind present, like the only way for him to be with Sophie. The show does a great job in portraying these differences and similarities between Sophie and Benedict, and there's 2 scenes specifically that I would like to talk about in relation to that. They do get that special connection, but they are also very much shaped by how they learn to move through the world. So in one of the scenes, it's the one where Mrs. Crabtree is talking to Benedict while he's recovering from his injury, talking about how their different standing could affect the way that Sophie acts towards him, that she might feel that she has to meet his wishes and do as he says. And I do feel that landed a bit with Benedict. Then there's also the scene with the brothers messing around with the shaving cream, and then later cutting to the servant having to clean everything up. It's very clear that Benedict doesn't really think about these things while they've shaped Sophie's life a lot. Yeah, I love this show so much, and I can't wait for the next 4 episodes. I'm kind of hitting myself a little bit for like watching all of them in one go and not spreading them out, but who am I kidding? I mean, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. I just had to watch them all. But actually, I haven't finished the book. I have a little bit left, but life just got in the way. I mean, I thought I had time, and then I got requests for self-tapes, and I had work stuff and life stuff. I also kind of got stuck because I read most of this in like one go. Then I got stuck when he's trying to blackmail her, because it just annoyed me too much. And yeah, but I'm moving past that now, and she's now at Bridgerton house, so I'll probably finish it, but not for this video, because yeah, work. But I do want to hear all your thoughts on the book and the show especially. Have you seen it? If so, what did you think? Like, yeah, as I said, I think this is my favorite season after season 2, because I don't think anything could beat season 2. But hey, anything can happen. Time will tell. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you wanna, you could like and subscribe. That would really help me out. And I'll see you in the next one.